when we had our first lottery, 700 people showed up. And we didn't know what to do with all of that, so I just got up and said a few words and said, thank you for trying to do the lotto, we love you very much, bye. And it's turned into this. I thought I'd bring things full circle. I'm going to read you a letter that Hamilton wrote to Eliza. It was before they got married, and I'm reading it to you because it kind of captures everything I love about Hamilton. He's kind of arrogant, he's kind of insecure, he's unbelievably romantic, it's funny, it's sad, and it's basically him saying to Eliza, don't marry me if you think you can't be happy broke, because we might end up broke. So I'm going to read you the letter. 1780. Opening sentence. Impatiently, my dearest, have I been expecting the return of your father to bring me a letter from my charmer with the answers you have been good enough to promise me to the little questions asked in mine by him. I long to see the working of my Betsy's heart, and I promise myself I shall have ample gratification to my fondness in the sweet familiarity of her pen. She will there, I hope, paint me her feelings without reserve, even though in those tender moments of pillowed retirement, when her soul, abstracted from every other object, delivers itself up to love and to me, yet with all that delicacy which suits the purity of her mind and which is so conspicuous in whatever she does. Oh. It is now a week, my Betsy, since I have heard from you. In that time, I've written it to you twice. I think it will be advisable in future to number our letters, for I have reason to suspect they do not all meet with fair play. This is number 1. Though I'm not saying it and expecting it, I am not without hopes this winter will produce a peace, and then you must submit to the mortification of enjoying more domestic happiness and less fame. This I know you will not like, but we cannot always have things as we wish. The affairs of England are in so bad a plight that if no fortunate events attend her in this campaign, it would seem impossible for her to proceed in the war. But she is an obstinate old dame, and seems determined to ruin her whole family, rather than to let Miss America go on flirting it with her new lovers, with whom, as giddy young girls often do, what's up, Russ? Good to see you again, as giddy young girls often do, she eloped in contempt of her mother's authority. I know you will be ready to justify her conduct, and to tell me the ill treatment she received was enough to make any girl of spirit to act in the same manner. We're talking about America. But I will one day cure you of these refractory notions about the right of resistance, of which I foresee you will be apt to make a very dangerous application, and teach you the great advantage and absolute necessity of implicit obedience. Shades of 50 Shades of Grey from Alexander Hamilton. But now we are talking of times to come. Tell me, my pretty damsel, have you made up your mind upon the subject of housekeeping? Do you soberly relish the pleasure of being a poor man's wife? Have you learned to think a homespun preferable to a brocade, and the rumbling of a wagon wheel to the musical rattling of a coach and six? Will you be able to see with perfect composure your old acquaintances flaunting it in gay life, tripping along in elegance and splendor, while you hold a humble station and have no other enjoyments than the sober comforts of a good wife? Can you, in short, be an Aquileia and cheerfully plant turnips with me, if fortune should so order it? If you cannot, my dear, we are playing a comedy of all in the wrong, and you should correct the mistake before you begin to act the tragedy of the unhappy couple. I propose you a set of new questions, my lovely girl, but though they are asked with an air of levity, they merit a very serious consideration, for on their being resolved in the affirmative, stripped of all colorings of fond imagination, our happiness may absolutely... I have not concealed my circumstances from my Betsy. They are far from splendid. They may even possibly worse than I expect. An indifference to property enters into my character too much, and what affects me now, as my Betsy is concerned in it, I should have laughed at or not thought of at all a year ago. But I have thoroughly examined my own heart. Beloved by you, I can be happy in any situation. I can struggle with